Today, Canada, the United States, and the European Union announced that Vladimir Putin will face personal sanctions. But how massive palace on the Black Sea that is obviously being built for Mr. Putin. The property includes extensive gardens and vineyards, and even a private indoor hockey arena that is being installed below a helicopter pad. Putin insisted that the palace did not belong to him. But the documentary traced how the money to build it came from many close Putin friends and associates who have become wildly rich in recent years. Bill Browder is probably the #1 international campaigner for sanctions against Russia. He ran an investment fund there until his lawyer was murdered and he was driven out of the country by Vladimir Putin.
Vladimir Putin is a very rich man. I estimate that he's worth north of $200 billion. Most of that money was stolen from the state, but all of that money is not kept in his name. He keeps that money in the name of oligarch trustees.
Put out a list of 35 top Russian bureaucrats and oligarchs who should be targeted by sanctions. Less than half have been targeted so far. Among the Putin cronies on sanction lists are his longtime friend and judo sparring partner Arkady Rotenberg, who has become a billionaire with lucrative contracts handed to him by the Russian leader. Arkady and his brother Boris Rotenberg were the first two oligarchs on the personal sanctions list announced this week in the United Kingdom. Of billionaire Russian oligarchs who have mansions in the UK, along with villas and giant yachts in the south of France.
Banks, you take the assets that they've bought all over the world, you take their villas, you take their yachts, you take absolutely everything that's in our jurisdictions, and you keep them from coming here. And that's how you, and that can be done through sanctions.
Bill Browder says President Biden has to target the top 50 Russian oligarchs.
It would make it impossible for those oligarchs to conduct any kind of business around the world because no organization wants to be in violation of U.S. Treasury sanctions.
And extend to the children of prominent Russian officials like Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov, who reside in Western countries. Anne Applebaum has written many books about Russia.
All of them have stolen money from their country and spent it abroad. And so, yes, I do think that going after their money, their property, their families, many of them have their wealth stored under the names of families, either spouses or cousins or other relatives, is really one of the only things that we can do that would actually make them feel.
Then there is the debate over what is called the mother of all sanctions. If the U.S. government and the U.S. Federal Reserve levied sanctions against the Central Bank of Russia and Russia's $638 billion worth of gold and cash reserves around the world. Such a move would likely cause the collapse of the Russian banking system, but the fallout might spread to Europe and elsewhere as well. Question: the NATO countries are in elaborate negotiations about how to punish Russia with minimal damage to their own economies. Today, the U.S. took its first symbolic step to target the sons of two of Putin's closest advisors, the first move to include families. Terence McKenna, CBC News, Toronto.